It really gives me joy to introduce the guests who are joining us. These are millennials to the highest order. They are the only ones that will be brave enough to do what people like us wouldn't do. They're both under 30, and they're both taking Nigerians across Nigeria to see Nigeria the way they've never seen it before. My guest, Amaka.
Hello.
But everybody calls you social prefect.
Yes, everybody does now.
And then, of course, Miss Danny Yan. Danny Yan is what they called you while you were in school in the UK.
Yes, Miss Danny Yan. I'm like, okay, hi, good morning.
And you are?
Unraveling Nigeria.
Unravel Nigeria, and this is Social Prefect. Social Prefect invited me to a tour. Unfortunately, I couldn't go. They wanted to take me to Badagry.
Yes, we did.
But you owe me one.
I still owe you one, definitely.
And so for you, you said a trip to London changed that. You'd lived in London for 3 years.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
So I had school there, but I never did anything touristy. And then I moved back to Nigeria.
Which is typical.
Yeah.
Just go there to go and school. And you think it's expensive too.
I know, because I'm thinking, I have to get the bus, get the train. So, it was just go to school, come back. That's what they sent you there for. Then I moved back to Nigeria after school, and then my youngest brother was graduating. So it was a family affair, Then we traveled there for his graduation. And the brother in between us said, you guys, we have to do something touristy. We never went anywhere. Let's go to Buckingham Palace, Trafalgar Square. We're like, yeah, sure, okay. We planned it. We get to Buckingham Palace, and I see so many people. And I'm thinking...
It's always full, right?
Yes.
Queued, long all the way.
You can't even enter this palace. You're just here to take pictures in front of the gate. I'm thinking about the Oni of Ife's palace. I'm like, if I go there, I will enter.
Free.
They will drum, I will dance, If I'm lucky, I will see the Oni himself. I just thought, people are coming here to take pictures in front of a gate. Why aren't people coming to Nigeria? At least they will enter the palace. They will be welcomed. If they go to the north, they'll enter the Emir's palace. I started thinking, there's something to this, Nigeria can do this. We can have tourism in Nigeria. So I went back home. I told my dad, I told everyone in my family about it. And they just said, this isn't a today situation. It takes 3-4 years. There's logistics. Because I was thinking big, bringing foreigners in. So everyone said, yes, good idea, but this isn't something that you will do today. You start working on it, and then you get there. So I told a friend too about this dream, and she says, why don't you just start small? Start a blog, document your own personal trips, see what the response is. That way, you know if people are going to be interested or not. So
for you, it was a function of wanting to show Nigeria to outsiders. And eventually, you started doing this.
Exactly.
And you started with your first visit to...
Yes. Lekki Conservation Center. That was the first
Very
one.
simple. How much is it to enter Lekki Conservation Center?
1,000 naira.
And the 1,000 canopy walk?
The canopy walk came.
That's just 2K.
2K.
And how many hours?
Well, it depends
not so
on
long,
you.
actually.
Yeah.
So social prefect, why social prefect?
Okay, it started from work. I've always been really, really friendly, like very friendly. I make friends easily, and
work, you're
I'm
barely
good with
25.
people. Okay, so I graduated at 19. My birthday was graduation was June, and my birthday was July. I was going to be 20.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically, like my life pretty much started from then. No, I always believe like my life started from when I was young. So more life started from... I know, because everybody always says your life starts now when you've graduated or when you get married or when something big happens. But we've always been living. But basically, real life, serious life started after graduation. And I started working after NYSC. I got a job at Jumia, and basically, I worked for 2 years. And in the middle, that's where my passion and love for discovering Nigeria came about.
How? What triggered it off?
I think since I was small, I've always been a waka waka. I've been giving...
Mr. Uko.
Yes, I've been giving so many curfews. Like, I've been giving the 11 o'clock one, 7 p.m.
So where were you waka into? Not nightclubs?
Actually, no, not necessarily. Like, places around Nigeria. First of all, it started from... I think when I was younger, my mom used to take us out a lot. Like, we visited amusement park in Nigeria, or places within Nigeria. We visited amusement park so many times. We visited water parks in Okpebi and so many other places. Lagos. All in Lagos. And then the schools I went to had this excursion culture. So I remember we went to Olumorok. I went to Olumorok like twice before
graduating.
Exactly. I went to Badagry 3 times.
So why did you try to make it a business?
Why did I? Okay, so it was while I was working. I just started discovering places. And the first place I went to was, I think it was Olumorok again, but this time around, instead of just...
Eye.
Exactly.
Not because teacher said...
That eye, and apart from Olumorok, I also discovered that Abeokuta had some other nice places. There's this golf course, there's the zoo. The zoo is really big and it can become like a safari because it has so much space. And, you know, so many animals, some are free range. Like you could just be there and the donkey passes. So there were all these things. There was also the cultural center. Places I never knew that Abeokuta, I mean, when you hear Abeokuta, is that I went to the university also, the FUNAB, that's the University of Agriculture, Federal University of Agriculture. And it was a beautiful school. I'm like, okay, Abeokuta surprised me. And then also did Ibadan. I went for a wedding, but I said, I cannot live here without exploring
so just exploring. Places. And yes. What I hear both of you say is, even you just wanted to explore. You were not thinking about the obstacles to exploring. Yeah. But there were obstacles, I'm sure.
Definitely. Transportation. Information. There's a big vacuum of information. If I want to go to Idorin Hills now, I don't know how much it costs. You know, I don't know how to get there, which is the vacuum we're trying to fill with the website. So if information and logistics can be sorted out, I think everything else is smooth sailings from there.
Well, while all this sounds very interesting and all of that, I'm sure that for both of you, there must have been one standout or standalone experience that made all of this worthwhile for you. Let's start off with you.
I think for me, that moment was when I got an email from a British couple. They were just teachers, but they were looking for a holiday experience, somewhere they had never been to. So they sent us an email telling us they wanted to come to Nigeria and if we could give them tips on where they could go. And as we continued helping them, they realized that they needed a guide and they just said, will you do this for us? Will you be our tour guide for the duration of the trip? I mean, I was hesitant at first because I thought this must be 419.
We were doing 419.
You know, you don't really get people saying, I'm coming for holiday in Nigeria.
And you choose Nigeria.
It was so strange.
But you did it?
Yes, and it was
they stayed
fantastic.
How many days here?
10 days. And we were with them from picking them up to putting them back on their plane when they were
What is the age of this couple?
30s.
They're
30
young.
to 32
like
years.
You people. While you're just barely 4 years old, right? You're barely 4 years old?
Yeah, barely.
Okay.
Well,
you're barely...
3 years old.
Well, you guys are old, considering the... 21 started this business. However, what would be your own special experience in this journey?
So many special experiences, but everything started from, when I lost my job and I had to focus on it full time. I think that focus made everything just fall into place.
So you lost your job? You didn't resign?
No, I didn't resign.
You were fired?
I was trying to put it mildly, but yeah, that's what happened. And it was like the best thing because prior to that, I had already started the blog documenting these places. And we had a few people asking or being interested in joining the tours because it was just me and a few friends or me alone, like solo tripping. And people said, yeah, and the important thing was, putting out great pictures and stories about these places, telling our own stories. And people said, oh, are these places really in Nigeria? Some people had not even heard about Olumorok, Badagry, so many places. And, it was just the knowledge that we shared, making people know that these places exist in Nigeria. And then people started asking if they could join. So we started organizing tours. Our first place was also Lekki Conservation Center. And
because it was organized and ready.
Exactly. It was
organized and ready.
And it was close, you win them over with the close ones. They start spreading your...
Okay. I must take a break because I must have your grandfather join us. Your grandfather in this business join us on this conversation so that Nigerians will know what we need to do as individuals to move tourism forward in our country. I'll be right back with my guests if you don't go away.